Florida. Enjoying it. All right. Okay. Meditating on some stuff. Interesting messages that God has given me to speak today. Very interesting. The thing is, another earthquake in Nepal. Another one behind the other earthquake. Wow. Whoa. The thing is, well, people don't look at humanity, look at that kind of stuff. I mean, if that happened, but watch it. If an earthquake happened to where they're at, panic and, let's worry about something. But when something bad happens to another place, it's like whatever. To certain people, it's like whatever, they reporting, thousands already in this earthquake that just happened. Dead. Can be dead. I mean, but it's not happening here, so, people like, whatever, let me go do my own thing. See, that's the cold heart. That's what Jesus was talking about, people wax cold in their heart, you know what I'm saying? It's just that coldness. It's just they don't have no appreciation of life in other people's lives. I mean, they probably don't appreciate their life, you know what I'm saying? How they, get caught up in the sinful lifestyle, You don't have regard for your life, so you're not going to have regard of other people's life. That's the cold heart. That's the wax cold Jesus was talking about in his word, Wax cold, you know what I'm saying? And sad, that people has that cold heart and don't care about the significance of other lives, other places, you know what I'm saying? It's hard. It's just messed up. But, this is fourth quarter, this is going to draw it out. Now, this is May now, the day of May. Now, I hope he lets you know on these blood moons, all the activity, the majority of the activity of what things that preceded the events of the Jewish people happened in May and June, So, look for certain things that happen, So, but that's not the topic of my message, but here we go. The topic of this message is quite interesting. I guess I'm finna do this one first, The topic of the reality is talk about the reality of the idea of fulfilling your purpose. Fulfilling your purpose, Moses circle. Fulfilling your person. I'm finna show you Moses. I'm finna use Moses as an example of the ideal of fulfilling your purpose and the reality of fulfilling your purpose in full circle. Well, Moses, was a man, of course, that, his mother, had him and had to put him in a, basket in the river, and the Pharaoh's daughter found Moses in a basket and took her as her own, and he was raised in Egypt, or he was raised in an Egyptian lifestyle, in a lifestyle that was about, if study Egyptian, worshiping gods and goddesses, mainly, and of course, enslaving people and getting more power and influence in control of the region. Most of the, countries do that back in the day. Greece, Rome and all those people. But the thing is, he was raised in, more likely you can say, a negative lifestyle. I mean, worshiping gods and goddesses. Sounds like the same ideal that Abram was in the Ur of the Chaldees, raised in around gods and goddesses. Funny, God uses these people. But let's follows Moses' story. So Moses comes to this realization, understanding that he wasn't Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Watch this. He was living the lifestyle of Egypt, but he wasn't Egypt. That's a message itself. But he was Hebrew. He was Hebrew. He was of a people that was enslaved. In slavery. He was a part of this people that were in bondage, that were used to build, the Bible says, Ramesses place and all kinds of stuff that Hebrews were building and, in bondage and stuff like that. And when he comes to the realization of who he is, he rebelled, got angry, and saw a taskmaster whipping his people and ended up killing the guy. He's a killer. He's a killer. So he's killing, and now he's, fleeing in the wilderness and, frustrated of his life and finding out that, he was not who he thought he was. You know what I'm saying? And end up, at a well and, met Zipporah, and, Zipporah introduced, Moses to his father and Jethro, and he started, becoming a servant at Jethro's house. And, this is his, and then all of a sudden, fast forward, he serves Jethro 4 days, and now the God of the Hebrews selected him to deliver his people. You know what I'm saying? Selected him. And the thing is, he's like, no, I can't do this. I'm a man with staggering lips. I stutter. And he had a stuttering problem. You know what I'm saying? And God said, okay, I'll send Aaron, you know what I'm saying, to, your brother to speak on behalf. Now, watch this. It's like, but the thing is, that the staff that Moses have is called Aaron's rod. And the reason why it's called Aaron's rod, because Aaron was the first to speak his mouth. Pharaoh, let my people go. Because what you use first and is what established everything. You know what I'm saying? In the heavenly kingdom. So if Aaron, spoke, let my people go, that means he established the deliverance process of God's plan. So God named the staff Aaron's rod. If Moses would have spoke, it would have been called Moses' rod. But Moses allowed his inability to interfere with God trying to use him. Sound like somebody, He allowed that until all of a sudden, it says in the Bible that Moses woke up in the morning. He said, let my people go. You know what I'm saying? With the passion that God desired him to have. But guess what? If God was like us, God would have been like, we would have been like, Moses, you act like you don't want to, be a deliverer. Forget you. I'm finna go, use Aaron. That's us. We would have did that. But God didn't do that. God, was faithful and had patience with Moses concerning his position. And all of a sudden, of course, about the 10 plagues and stuff like that. And they got delivered out of Israel and everything else. And they got, got delivered Israel. Now, Moses, he got the 10 commandments. You know what I'm saying? And he's doing these great things of God. Now he delivered the people, got the 10 commandments, he's building the tabernacle of God. You know what I'm saying? But now you go into let's talk about the going to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? Going to the promised land, he first of all wrong for, sending out spies. First of all, if you send out spies, he was wrong for that. But, he sent 12 spies, and 10 came out with a bad report, and 2 came out with a good report. And Moses made this mistake. Now remember, Moses accomplished all these great things. You know what I'm saying? He delivered the people out of, help through God's power, deliver the people out of Israel, out of Egypt, and he got the Ten Commandments, and he established the tabernacle of God. Now he's doing all these great accomplishments here, but now he makes a mistake, and not go into the promised land and find himself wandering around the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? He's making this mistake, and now all of a sudden, God told him to first. He told him one time first to tap the rod in front of the elders. You know what I'm saying? But then now he second time, he was around the children, which second time God told him to speak to the rock, but he didn't speak to the rock. He tapped the rock, and he disobeyed God. After, remember, all this stuff happened after all that. You know what I'm saying? He did all this disobedience. You know what I'm saying? Now remember, God is chosen him to use him for a purpose, using him for a purpose. But in that purpose, Moses has made a lot of mistakes. I mean, he's made some mistakes within this purpose, but yet God used him. Now the thing is, I want to get to this part that finally Moses, they head to the promised land, and the Bible says that Moses saw the promised land from afar. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't enter the promised land. You know what I'm saying? But he saw it from afar. But the thing is, I know studying Judaism and having a Jewish calendar, that Moses died when the same date when he was born. Moses died at 120 years old. You know what I'm saying? 120 years old. Went full circle. You know what I'm saying? 120 years old. Now, let's look. Can we look at Moses' circle, of his 120 years of his life, and look at that and say, you know what? I can't be used by God. No, I can't be used by God. No, it's no way impossible that a person like me that, Moses was raised in Egypt, bad place of sin, worshiping gods and goddesses. Grew up in that. So, well, of course, in this society, have y'all worshiping gods and goddesses and all kind of crazy stuff everywhere. The thing is, Moses went through almost probably the same things that you went through. But he came to discover who he was. And he discovered who he was, and he fulfilled his purpose. He fulfilled his circle, in spite that his circle wasn't perfect. His circle wasn't perfect, but he still went full circle in spite of the ups and downs and the ins and outs of Moses' life. He still went all the way around his purpose to fulfill it. And the thing is, that's all God desires us to want to do, to strive in spite of our mistakes, in spite of what we do, is to fulfill the full circle of our life and accomplish it. Moses' circle is not different from you accomplishing your circle. You know what I'm saying? Moses' circle is no different of you. You can make a circle. You can make full circle of your life, fulfilling your purpose, in spite of all the the nonsense and the darkness that is going on in your life. That through Christ, you can fulfill this circle in spite of the simple condition that you are at. But it's a matter of you choosing to go try. That's what the lowercase t. God taught me that this means try to go closer to God. Best way as possible to fulfill a full circle in your life, that you can truly fulfill a purpose that is worth living for. All right, that's the message. I hope you understand that Moses' purpose circle is not different from yours, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. To God be the glory here forever and ever in Jesus' name.